What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video where I finally started to play with measured assembly. It's so easy to slip off the tongue. Final measure. It's not final measure. It's not Division 1. This is Division 2 and it's measured assembly. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe because we've got a lot to get into, and let's get straight into it. Right, okay, so measured assembly is pretty good. I'm kind of hanging here a District Union Arena. I've just run literally legendary with randoms. One of them wasn't so random. He picked up a call for help that I did to get 4 people into the game, but he's a returning player. He's not played for a little while. He is in my clan, so he might not be as tip top as, you know, players will be that have not left the game. Essentially, he's a long time player. He knows what he's doing. But he has taken a considerable break from the game as well. So, with all that to be considered, I'm going to pull up the view here actually now, so you can see here. You can't see the names because they left. But yeah, everything looks pretty spot on here. Nothing to write home about. But yeah, it was a good run, and really what I wanted to do was dip into a legendary with randoms and see if this is enough of a support build to actually support players and make them, you know, pick up groups hard, you know, or easy. I think I'm finally going to think, you know what, I can do the harder content in the game and it actually be as easy as me doing it with my clan members who I've done it with for years with, essentially, who expertise level 30 out of the brains. So that is the question. And actually, I was pleasantly surprised, but there is a few caveats to it that we will talk about along the way. So let's first of all talk about my build. I'm going to show you the build right off the rip. This is the initial build that I decided to go with. Now, I did decide to go down the healing route, and I think everybody will kind of go down the healing route pretty much with this, because with the 3-piece bonus, you get 60% healing skills. It's just a lot to not be a healer build as well as a support build. So it kind of just makes sense. 2-piece, we get 15% skill haste. We're not so bothered about the explosive resistance. But the 4-piece is where it gets really, really interesting. So we receive 1 skill tier for each ally agent that is within the range of your hive or smart cover. While at skill tier 6, having at least 1 ally agent in the range of your hive or smart cover for 4 seconds will grant you overcharge for 15 seconds. Now, this overcharge doesn't really work in the same way as all other overcharges do in the game. So, for instance, if I put my hive out, I had to watch for the actual measured assembly symbol to give me the indication that this was active, not the like electric mark that overcharge skills get normally. So I thought that was a little bit weird, but still, it's fine. It's still, you know, usable, you know. And what you got to think about as well is the hive did automatically change size when that was deployed. Smart cover didn't. So that's a little bit weird. I'm not sure why that's a thing. So you tend to, when I show some footage of it, you'll be like, why is he not deploying the smart cover? I'll wait till the overcharge is active and then deploy it to get the maximum value from the smart cover. But then what's even more interesting is the mortars and enemy skills that enter the range of your hive or smart cover will be destroyed. There's a cooldown for that for 10 seconds. The cooldown is 20% faster for each ally agent within the range of your hive or smart cover. So you've really got to kind of say, listen, if you're going to use smart cover and you want the extra damage, you've got to play in cover. It will give you a lot of damage. I know a lot of people don't like playing in cover. We're playing kind of harder content here, for an example, legendary. So really than being in cover, getting heals, getting a huge damage target out of cover buff probably isn't too much to ask. But it's a little bit harder when you are playing with randoms. I opted for the backpack because it decreases the cooldown for destroying mortars and enemy skills from 10 to 1. Now, I probably could do without that. Well, here we go. I'm just going to let him kill me. We probably could do without that. I didn't use that as much as I probably would have thought I would have used. But then that give you the option maybe to throw in the birdie backpack instead, if you wanted to. But then we would lose our exotic gloves, the BTSU data gloves. And The reason I wanted to keep these on because they give you yet another overcharge. So it grants 15% hive skill haste, which is nice. But then detonating a hive refreshes your skill cooldowns and grants overcharge for 15 seconds. If at skill tier 6, this also applies to all our allies. So that's kind of really, really nice to get that other option to provide overcharge. If they're using the shield, it becomes invulnerable. If they're using skills, they get extra damage. So, you know, I kind of like the idea of that as well as having, you know, but obviously the birdie overcharge, the birdie backpack also gives you overcharge as well. So you've got quite a few options here when it comes to that. If you didn't want to use these and you thought, you know what, I really don't need that overcharge, I wouldn't be using an Alps chest. You could use Murakami and use 2-piece Murakami, because that will give you 15% skill duration and 35% healing skills, which is an extra 20% healing skills on top of what I've got in the build already. So if you don't think you need that extra overcharge and you don't want to use any of the exotics, that would definitely be where to go. But I would definitely recommend running Empathic Resolve, repairing an ally. What is wrong with me this evening? It's been a long week. An ally increases their total weapon and skill damage by 3 to 15% for 20 seconds, or 1 to 7% for itself. It's always going to be maxed because we are maxed on yellows. So yeah, it's just well worth it. Well worth it. And much more worth it than running the measured assembly chest piece, which I just don't think is worth it at all. So, you know, that is, I would definitely not run that. But the backpack, give or take, we probably could lose it. And if you did lose the backpack, and for instance went measured assembly gloves instead, you then open this up to a whole other talent. So you could be like, well, you know what, I could have another talent on the back of this. And as we're using the Scorpio shotgun, it actually gives us some really good options. So for instance, let's just flip through these here. So we could do this one. We could do Safeguard if you're wanting to play extra safe. While at full armor, increases total skill repair by 130%. That is a lot. You probably would have to play in cover a bit more, but that's, you know, kind of another option. You could run Overclock because we are buffing our team, but it only kind of gives 25% reload speed and reduces the cooldowns by a little bit. So again, but it is another option. Opportunistic will probably be my favorite because we're going to be literally just kind of shooting from cover or whatever we can, because we're using the Scorpio, and that's going to make it that everyone does 10% more amp damage, which I think is kind of cool. And that will kind of be your options, but I would probably go with opportunistic would be my go-to. Now the reason obviously as well we're running the Scorpio is because after its 9 shots, targets take an additional 20% damage from all sources, meaning if you do get all them off, chungas, dogs and whatever else will just do take a whole lot of damage from the other 3 team members regardless. I am running the Lexington, but it can be any gun you want, just because I put reformation on. So when I was in a bit of a tight spot with people that were dying, I could switch to this and get 60% extra skill repair very easily. Because all you have to do is get a headshot, not a head kill. Just literally shoot something in the head. Job's a good one. Really easy. But obviously then with the measured assembly, we can kill things, robots, dogs, tanks, incoming drones very easily. The minute the drones hit the hive, they'll just explode and they'll just die. We can shoot dogs with our smart cover really easily, and I'll show you an example of that right now. So as you can see, I'm just at the top now. There's a mini tank. You shoot it and it instantly kills them. You then have to cancel it, but you know, if you have the option to throw your hive, you could then cancel the hive and gain an overcharge because we're running the BTSU gloves. So there's some nice options there as well when it comes to that. And I can show you another option here now if I just flip over to the screen again. So what you'll see here now is one of the drone controllers gets a drone off and it just hits the radius of either the smart cover or the hive, and it just instantly explodes the minute it gets there. So here it comes now. You can see it on the left hand side. It flies over. I haven't got the power to take it out, and it just instantly dies. And that happens a few times when we're down here as well. Is it going to happen again now? No, maybe not. But yeah, that's just another option that you can use it for as well. Let's just stop this. Which obviously in a legendary, you know, there you go, you saw that one explode. Whether a teammate killed it or not, I'm not sure, but it can get pretty horrible. And the backpack, yeah, it just gives it that 1 second. It's just nice, essentially, because then if one does get through, because that 1 second is too long, it's literally half the explosions, and 2 of them explosions can kill an agent, you know, and can put them down. So that's that option as well. I ran the crossbow. Now there's multiple reasons why I ran the crossbow. I'm going to show you that now, just in here. And this is kind of an old school reason why I ran this. It's been around such a long time. But we'll talk about this. So group members get 10% bonus damage to targets with status effects. And you'll find that I did that at the end on the last boss. Or if I could get a door open and all the enemies are in there. If you can get a fire grenade from the crossbow in that area, things will just die really quickly. I was very impressed with how much the boss, basically we just killed his chain. I kept putting status grenades on and using the Scorpio, and he died very quickly for a non-optimized group, essentially a pickup group. So I was very impressed, you know, with how that went down. We then got some other things as well. I get 15% outgoing healing. Can't go wrong with that. I get 10% protection from elites, which is great. But then my armor kits, when I use them, will also heal my other team members as well, giving me another source for healing if my hive is down, or perhaps I've used it for an overcharge. I'm not the best healer in the world by any means, but this is a lot of options to provide buffs and heals to your team, and essentially damage at the same time. Then obviously we are going to run smart cover. A tier 6 smart cover gives us 20% damage target out of cover, 75% weapon handling, 60% radius, and 420% health. If we go into it and we look at the overcharge, we get 35% damage to targets out of cover, 100% weapon handling. It's just really good. You can see here I've modded it with radius and damage target out of cover. I feel like it is very important to get as much radius on your skills, because even though we've got overcharge, there are times when overcharge isn't available, and you want to get as much coverage with these skills as you possibly can to cover your teammates that will do what they want, and also cover any incoming drones, tanks, dogs, enemy skills, and things like that. When it came to the hive, you can see I modded that up with healing, range, and health. Again, going for the range and the extra healing, just because, again, for the same reasons as the smart cover. And it all just worked out really well. So I'll go through the build here so you can see it. It's basically repair skills absolutely everywhere. Repair skills, repair skills, repair skills, and then with the chest, repair skills and skill haste. And you might be wondering why I've not put any skill haste in anywhere at all. Well, the reason for that is when you look at the smart cover, you can see here my cooldown is 30.2 seconds and the duration is 31.2 seconds. So I could put some skill haste into that, because there will be times that it will get destroyed and I still have to wait for 30 seconds. But that's totally up to you. You can come away and go, do you know what, I don't need that much healing. I'll put some skill haste, and I put 3 skill haste mods in instead. There was times that did happen to me, that I were waiting maybe 20 seconds or so for it to come back up, but I could kind of take that away a little bit by overcharging with my BTSU gloves and things like that. And it only took about 6 seconds off the cooldown putting 3 skill haste mods on. So in the end, I just made the decision to go with healing skills, but that's totally up to you what you can do. But that's where I made my judgment, the fact that the duration and the cooldown, and if you're smart with the placement where enemies can hit it, it will generally last long enough. So that's kind of up to you how you do that. So then we'll look at the skills, and obviously weapon skills or anything like that aren't going to do anything for us. so we're not too bothered about that. But we'll go to the smart cover, and as you can see, it gives us 41% damage to target auto cover because I don't have a max mod in there. I have a 6% mod. I believe max is now 7, so that's that. And then with the healing hive, we've got 32 charges, and that is the healing. So yeah, nice, no messing around, and just works really, really well. I'm going to try and investigate more of a solo version of this, which I'm not sure how solo friendly measured assembly is, because we don't count as the agent when we are inside of it. So as you can see here, it's basically for 2, 3 and 4 players only. We don't count, which is a little bit of a shame, but I guess we'll see if we can actually make it worth its while or not. I'm not sure we will be able to be honest. But that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, agents. Goodbye.